Hello, students. We were discussing with respect to water governance and water policy in past three parts of Module 4, and today is the fourth part what we are dealing with. The outline of today's class goes like this: revision of previous class, dimensions for classifying IMT policies, that is, irrigation management transfer policies, water user association, WUA. Yes, in the previous class, what we have studied is we have studied with respect to other key issues related to national water policies, which were lack of awareness in people regarding the usage of water, especially in rural areas. And the next was lack of participation of the people because as they are not aware of it. And the third one was gender and caste discrimination, wherein we discriminate women, men, and backward class people with respect to caste discrimination and all. That we have discussed with respect to other key issues related to national water policy. Coming to irrigation systems, wherein we have classified it into irrigation management activities, irrigation management policy, irrigation management transfer, wherein we defined what is an irrigation system, wherein it is a system of physical structures such as dams, canals, gates, pumps, and others that capture water from a natural source and distribute it to a farmers to use for water cropping plants. This was the definition what we have dealt with. And in irrigation management activities, there were water distribution, maintenance of it, resource mobilization, conflict resolution, which all we studied in detail. And with respect to irrigation management policies, we studied water distribution laws, resource mobilization laws, conflict resolution rules, system managers, and many more with respect to how the important how the policies play a vital role in making the document that all we studied in the previous class. And with respect to irrigation management transfer, we stated that the transfer of some or all irrigation management responsibilities for an irrigation system from a government agency to one or more private or local person or organizations means that manage irrigation management transfer, wherein it is to be need not be total but could be limited to specific parts of irrigation system or to be specific management functions. That all we dealt in the previous class. And today let us discuss the same IMT policies, that is dimensions in order to classify IMT policies and activities. The definition of IMT includes transfer of responsibilities from a government agency to a private person or organization. This suggests what called as that two of the needed traits, that is characteristics, that we need to remember. That is, we need to remember all the things regarding to that. And we have seven elements as a key dimension for classifying the IMT policies and activities. The very first one is person or organization to whom responsibilities are to be transferred. Responsibilities, what responsibilities to be transferred, rights and powers transferred, change in agency resource mobilization, change in resource mobilization for the private persons or organization, changes in conflict resolution institution, and IMT implementation, that is in irrigation management transfer implementation in any one of the classification. It may not be necessary to make use of all the dimensions which are mentioned above. These are some of the dimensions used in order to classify the IMT policies as well as activities. This is all with respect to irrigation system. Now let us study water users allocations or association, what we see. Water user association is an association of water users which includes irrigators, farmers, any of the people who will be using water. When we talk about origin of WUA, that is water user allocation or association, two aspects of the origin are particularly relevant to the performance. One is the age of the organization, other is whether the impetus I mean, the motivation for organizing was internal or external. These are the two aspects what we think of during the origin of the what called as WUS. WUS originating from internal initiatives are often found in small scale farmer managed irrigation system. Yes, when we talk with respect to internal part. Coming to the bylaws of WUA, bylaws are normally required before a WUA, which can be registered as a legal entity and before it can be allowed to operate. The issues that such bylaws addresses include basic facts about and objectives of the WUA, criteria for becoming a member of WUA, number of farmers required for the establishment of a WUA, how many numbers of farmers should be there in order to establish a WUA. WUA as a legal entity, it should be considered as a legal entity. It is not a formal body. Structural organization and internal arrangement should be proper and well managed. Operations and maintenance as per the laws to be followed. And water charges again depends on WUA team. Rights and obligations of members. What rights they have, what obligations they can put on. Interpreting and amending the bylaws. Liquidation of the WUA, I mean they can dissolve the team. Establishment of a federation of WUA. These all are the issues which has been addressed with a bylaws framed by a WUA. When you got to know regarding the issues, let us consider what could be the criteria for becoming the member of WUA. Who can become, how we can become, and what the bylaws says. Most bylaws restrict membership to the registered landowners in the hydraulic unit. I mean, those who will be the landowners, it will be restricted to them. Most of the bylaws who are engaged on a full-time basis in farming. But in some countries like Nepal, extend the rights and tenants where membership of WA is open to farmers having lands or tenancy rights. I mean, the farmer can be a owner who is owner can also be a member, and a farmer who is taking the farm from the owner and his as a tenant can also be a member in country like Nepal. But in some cases, multiple users of water can also be a members of the WA. Example, not only the irrigators or farmers, but also livestock owners, fishermen, those who will be involving with the water activities can also be a what called as member, wherein we call them as a multiple users. In many cases, women appear to be almost absent from water users group or association. The only women who can potentially participate in water user groups are either widows or single mothers with no adult male living in the household. I mean, those in a family wherein no adults or men can take a part. At that time, women will be having a scope in wherein she can involve in what called as involve as a member of WA. But women have been considered as the uh, not considered. I mean, she's completely absent in the team of WA, but the major contribution in the usage for domestic purpose is done by women. She has to be considered, but as per bylaw, it has been absent. But wherein they are considering women, wherein women being a widow or there will be no adult male living in their household, can be participate as a member in a WA. This is one of the what called as criteria what they have mentioned in bylaws. On occasion, special arrangements are made to provide for the representation of the disadvantaged, such as tailenders, female heads of farms, or small farmers, that is, representatives from the head and tail end of the irrigation system. I mean, those will be playing the role in between. I mean, owners and what called as distributors are considered head and tail, what we can say. In between, whoever will be there who will be using irrigation system will not be considered into role, but it should not be done. This is what a criteria for becoming a member of WA says. And with respect to WA, I'll be sharing what called as a PDF wherein how the organization formed. Each and every parameter is distributed in terms of flowchart. That class I'll be dealing it after the end of this module. Yes, the next part is role of water allocation. Water allocation is a process of sharing a limited natural resource between different regions and competing users. It is a process made necessary when the natural distribution and availability of water fails to meet the needs of all water users in terms of quantity, quality, timing of availability. At that time, it plays a vital role. In simple terms, it is a mechanism for determining who can take water, how much they can take, when they can take, from which location they can take, and for what purpose they are taking it. This is all the role of water allocation. Very interesting with what called as water users association or allocation, what we say. They play a vital role in management. Thank you, students. In the next class, we'll be dealing with the last part of this module, that is 10 golden rules of basin water allocation. We have 10 rules there, and water reforms in India with respect to what called as our India's draft National Water Policy 2012, and what all key terms were included in that. That completes your fourth module. And with respect to WA, I'll be sharing you a separate PDF wherein you just can go through it once so that you can highlight or write a short note if it is expected in exam.